I believe that on the next round, let's talk about the opportunities for institutional investors. But before we do that, let's talk about Botswana. So, Lesedi, sorry. So can you
Lesedi.
just, Lesedi, yeah.
Or you can just say light.
Light, okay.
Yes.
Light, that's what it means, right?
Yes.
Okay, so light,
or
go for
somebody
it.
that brightens people's lives.
Yes. Brighten my life. Give it to me.
Yeah, it was a bit tense. Okay, thank you, Africa Investor, for inviting the Botswana Public Officers Pension Fund one more time to this opportunity. As the pension fund, we are excited to come and share our stories insofar as who we are, our governance, our investment strategy is something that we talked about last year. For the past 2 years, we've been talking about this, and therefore, as investors, you really like to see what is the impact of this investment strategy and how does it fit into your requirements. And I'll also talk about the allocations for Africa and how we see the BPOPF positioning itself into the product mix. And I'll share the opportunities, obviously, for Africa. And investors, there's a question that came from Japan. I think I'll also talk to institutional investors from outside Africa, focusing in Botswana. I think, like we've said before, the Botswana Public Officers Pension Fund is a DC fund. We were incepted in 2001. If you look at the map of Africa, Botswana is in terms of the size of the country, it's big. But population-wise, we are 1.9 million. And therefore, we would obviously not compare with South Africa and Swaziland by way of population, but we'll beat them one way or the other. We've got assets under management at the BPOPF of, we've grown from 2001, we were 1.9 billion, and currently as at the 30th of March, we are 56 billion. So relatively, like I'm saying, in relation to the population, the GDP speaks for itself. Very safe country, you must visit. The geographical, the asset allocation is that our policy is that we are invested, 40% is invested locally in Botswana, and 60% is invested offshore. I'll talk to the board. It's more or less the same like our neighbors, where we've got members from the employer side. It's a tripartite setup, where we've got membership from the employer side. We've got board membership from the unions, and we've got a pensioner trustee as well as an independent trustee, so that they can give us an independent advice on our investment strategy. We talked about the investment strategy last year. Our investment strategy from the BPOPF is reviewed every 3 years. We've got an IPS policy which is available on our website. You can come and see for yourself. But obviously, as part of governance from the regulator, is that on an annual basis, we submit our performance of the investment strategy in terms of its relevance to the market and how it is actually performing for the members themselves. So that's what we do on an annual basis. And the report, the performance, the report of the investment performance is available also on our website, so that institutional investors can see for themselves. I'll talk about the 2014-2016 investment strategy, which really focused on new objectives, new themes, and also touched on new products. It focused on the Botswana economy in the sense that we have a specific country fund for private equity and infrastructure. And also it focused on the member. We have introduced new products into the mix to cater for different life stages of the members. Firstly, for members that are in the accumulation phase, we have introduced what we call an active and deferred pensioner portfolio. It's currently online. And secondly, for members that are on the conservation phase, we have introduced what we call a pre-retirement switch portfolio. Remember, these are members that are actually nearing a retirement phase, and therefore their needs and aspirations are different from somebody that is maybe starting employment. And then lastly, members that are on the drawdown phase, we have introduced what we call a pensioner portfolio. And these different portfolios, they've got different strategies going forward. And also, the investment strategy that we are talking about here, which is currently, it's fully implemented, it's diversified. It has introduced new products like the South African inflation-linked bonds. We've got international property and bonds. I hope it is clear. But going forward, what does this mean to the institutional investor like my friend from Japan? Is that we have allocated 15% for the emerging market allocation, which includes Africa. But because of the different needs and aspirations and the requirements from the markets, is that we are currently reviewing at an infantry stage of the 2016-2019 investment strategy. Remember that I said every 3 years we do revise. And therefore, going forward is that we are going to have a specific allocation for Africa. That 15% that I talked about is inclusive of your emerging markets, your Brazils and things like that. But now, going forward, we are going to refine ourselves and have a specific allocation for Africa. And that is something that we are excited about, and we see ourselves playing a pivotal investment forum or impact into Africa going forward. What are the tenders and what are the opportunities that lie ahead for my Japanese friend out there? As the BPOPF, we've run out a lot of tenders and we've appointed managers both locally and offshore. But currently, what we are doing is that we have run a tender for 500 million for infrastructure, and that includes sub-Saharan as well. And also there's 300 million tender that is available for the private equity. It's available on the website. So investors, look out to www.bpopf.co.w. We would like to partner with yourselves. Thank you.
Well, light has shed a lot of light on the innovations that are happening. Certainly, you know, a lot of interesting stuff going on in Botswana.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.